Hello everyone. Let me show you right off the bat why mastering the integrated program change control system is your ultimate shield against the dreaded scope creep that kills multi-component programs. When you look at the official study guide, the integrated program change control system is formally defined as the documented governance framework, processes, tools, and authority levels used to review, evaluate, approve, or reject modifications to program baselines, scope, schedule, budget, and component interdependencies. Now, in very simple words, an integrated change control system is just like the strict architectural zoning board and building permit office of a major city. You can't just knock down a wall or add an extra floor to your house whenever you feel like it. You have to submit a formal blueprint change request so engineers can check if your new room will cause the entire roof to collapse. Think of it like this. I remember consulting for a massive financial systems transformation program years ago, where individual component project managers kept saying yes to minor client change requests on the fly without checking how those changes affected other teams. Within 6 months, our core budget was blown by $2 million and our schedule was delayed by 5 months because hundreds of uncoordinated changes collided with each other. That is what happens when change control is missing. Don't worry, we'll take it slow as we map out how to build a bulletproof system. Let's dive deeper into how change requests enter our workflow and why every single modification must be formally captured in writing. According to the official study guide, the change control process begins with the formal submission of a change request, which must be logged in the Program Management Information System, detailing the requested modification, its rationale, and its initial high-level impact. In very simple words, logging a change request is just like walking up to the customer service counter at a hardware store and filling out a formal return and exchange form. You don't just throw a broken item on the counter and yell at the clerk. You write down exactly what you want to change and why you need a different part. Let me share a quick story with you. Years ago, I was managing a complex infrastructure modernization program when a component lead received a verbal phone call from a senior executive asking to add an extra data reporting feature to a software module. The lead immediately told his developers to start coding the feature without writing down a change request. 2 weeks later, nobody remembered who asked for it, how much it cost, or what else it broke in the schedule. We instituted a strict rule: if it isn't logged in our change system, it doesn't exist. Now watch how this connects directly to performing a comprehensive impact analysis to see how a change in one component ripples across the entire program ecosystem. The official study guide states that integrated change control mandates a rigorous impact analysis to evaluate how a proposed modification affects program scope, schedule, budget, risks, and cross-component interdependencies before any decision is made. In very simple words, cross-component impact analysis is just like playing a game of giant outdoor chess. When you touch one piece on the board, you have to look ahead 3 moves to see how shifting that piece opens up your king or blocks your other pieces from moving. Think of it like, have you ever seen a program manager approve a simple change to a database schema for component project alpha, completely unaware that component project beta was already building its entire user interface on the old schema, causing a catastrophic integration failure? That is a classic impact analysis failure. When we run our change control process, our impact analysis brings all affected component leads to the table to review the ripple effects together. Let's talk about the role of the Program Change Control Board, or CCB, in reviewing, debating, and authorizing or rejecting change requests. According to the official study guide, the Program Change Control Board is the designated governance authority responsible for reviewing impact assessments and making final objective decisions to approve, defer, or reject change requests based on strategic alignment and program constraints. In very simple words, the Change Control Board is just like a bipartisan Supreme Court panel that hears arguments from both sides of a legal case and votes fairly to decide whether a new law fits within the national constitution. Think of it like this. I remember sitting on a high-stakes CCB where a component manager requested an extra $300,000 to add a fancy customer feedback widget. When the board reviewed the impact analysis, we saw that the widget provided zero strategic alignment with our core business goals and would delay our critical go-live date by 2 weeks. We unanimously rejected the change request right there on the spot. The manager was disappointed, but the program budget and schedule were saved. Stay with me for a moment, because a strong CCB prevents scope bloat. Let's explore how approved change requests are officially integrated into your program documentation, baselines, and PMIS repositories. The official study guide emphasizes that once a change request is approved by the CCB, the program manager must update the formal program management plan, schedule baselines, cost baselines, and risk registers, ensuring all stakeholders are promptly notified. In very simple words, updating baselines after a change is approved is just like updating your family household budget spreadsheet after you officially decide to remodel the kitchen. You change the numbers on the master sheet so everyone knows the new financial reality. Think of it like this. I remember managing a multi-country software rollout where the CCB approved a major schedule compression change, but the communications coordinator forgot to update the master project schedules stored in our digital PMIS workspace. As a result, 3 component teams kept working toward the old obsolete deadline for 2 full weeks, completely missing the new targets. Once we automated our baseline update alerts inside our PMIS, every approved change triggered an instant notification to all team leads. Don't worry, we'll take it slow and look at how you configure these baseline notifications. We have arrived at the final stretch of our journey on the integrated program change control system, and let's tie it all together with a winning PGMP exam strategy. The official study guide highlights that exam scenarios involving change control will test your ability to enforce formal change logging, conduct cross-component impact analysis, utilize the program change control board for decision making, and update program baselines transparently. In very simple words, this means whenever you read an exam question where a client or executive asks for a scope addition, schedule shift, or budget adjustment, your correct answer choice will always involve submitting a formal change request, analyzing its impact across all dependent components, taking it to the change control board for a decision, and updating the master baselines. Never implementing changes on the fly, skipping impact analysis, or letting individual component managers approve major modifications in isolation. Think of it like an expert structural engineer who insists on reviewing formal architectural blueprints and calculating load limits before approving any modifications to a skyscraper. And in the next chapter, we're going to talk about evaluating scope variations and cumulative impact.